Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, know your nation, know yourself. All right, we have another Friday fry up here. Can you just let me know if you can hear me? Can you hear me okay? I'm just back with my microphone again, so I don't strain la voce. Oh, yes, it looks like the sound is on. And but if you could just confirm that. So yeah, I've been meaning to use this mic a bit more often. And sometimes, I'm kind of, you have force of habit or you get busy with something and you don't have time and blah, blah, blah. But this is, it's more relaxing for my voice because sometimes I do tend to strain my voice a little bit because obviously I want to make sure that I'm projected, that I'm being well heard. Let me just move this up just the fraction so we have it here. Well, Happy New Year, everyone. Of course, I hope you guys had a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, because not everybody celebrates Christmas. And I hope you had a very happy New Year. My goodness, it comes around quick, doesn't it? Let me just scroll down a little bit just to make sure that you guys sound is, here we are. Connie says, sound is fine. Got a fine microphone as well. You've got one as well. Yes, they are very, very good. Wonderful. Well, there is so much to discuss. I looked at some of the questions and then some have been added. And then I've got Sherry, thanks for your question, but this is epic. So I was just seeing this, she posted this a little while ago, so thank you, but I'm gonna have to read most of it afterwards. But you have put here your question here in capitals. Assuming Dems or midterms will somehow take House, Senate, Dems. Okay, so I'll read through that. And then, oh, interesting. All right. Someone had a dream about Serena Williams, but I'll explain that in a minute. Shift in the humanity predicted. Okay, what else do we have here? I've just come from tennis, by the way, and so I was out with the gents, but of course, as you know, I've got to get my exercise in. Had a nice American pizza actually with chicken on the top. The American pizza is it's like a thin base with pepperoni, and it was very good. And they put a bit of roasted chicken on the top. It was very, very nice. Space Forge, okay, macros. Okay. Oh, very interesting questions. Putin claims that. Ooh. Ooh. All right. There's a Putin question. Probably start with that one. And Jack Smith as well. All right. Let's begin. So let's see who is in the chat. Many of you are joining me live, so thank you. So Kathy says, oh my God, did I make a live? Yes, you did. Annie says, happiest New Year's from New Mexico. Wonderful. Kat is saying, hi, Hogarth, happy New Year. And people saying happy full moon. Yes, the moon has been looking glorious. Like, it's very cold here in the UK at the moment. We've been round about down to 2 degrees. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit. 50s? Is that the 50? I can't remember, but it is cold. It is very, very cold. And many of you are here in the chat. Ooh, someone's saying here, what do you see for Tim Waltz in Minnesota? Are we going to end up going red? Well, I thought, wasn't Minnesota kind of going blue? But mind you, there's been a little bit of a scandal, hasn't there? There's been a bit of a scandal with all these sort of YouTubers investigating sort of like fake childcare stuff, and then all other people exposing scams, and there's so many different things going on. And then here, Jerry Gelding says, happy 2026, everyone. Hoping this year is better than the last. We'll have to see. Remember, it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be intense, guys. There's going to be a lot of transformation. Let me get my cards out. You know, I've been illustrating that tarot card. Oh, my God. It's looking good, but I must say it's a bit spooky. It is a bit spooky. I've just started painting it. I'm just gonna flash a little bit of it because it's still attached to the book, and I know it spooks people out. Now, do you remember there was the original sketch? So I traced that original sketch. Do you remember I said there was that card that came out, you know, my Donald Trump video? So I did the sketch, yeah. Then I traced it, yeah. Then I traced it, transferred it onto some watercolor paper, and now I've started doing the watercolor. Do you remember I said there would be this all this Sahara in the background? I've painted the sky, Sahara Desert, and here there's this eagle's eye in the middle. I'm not going to show too much of it because people might get a little bit spooked. But I'm just like, just get rid of that little bit there. I've just become mesmerized, but I think the eye might spook people out. But look at the sky. Oh. Anyway, so it's nice to be creative, but once all of that it's gonna be a little bit spooky, but it's gonna be very powerful. And I have a name for it as well. I've called it, what have I called it? I've called this the card, I've called it the portal of past, present, and future. So it's kind of like it's to do with time and time travel and stuff like that. That's how I downloaded it. Like I said, it's not a card that I've ever seen before. It maybe exists somewhere else, who knows? But anyway, let's dive into the show. Where am I going to start? Let's see here. So someone said, Anna says, Hogarth, just watched to share YouTube video with you in the community. I'm not really tech savvy, so I decided to put it here. The title of the video is Keir Starmer, He's Here to Keep You in Survival. And she's talking about it's by Tiffany Lynn. And so that's about Sir Keir Starmer. I would have to agree, actually. Keir Starmer is dreadful. Dreadful. But, you know, he's for Davos. He's always been. He's even admitted. Emily Maitlis interviewed him, who is a very well-respected and well-known journalist in the UK. She also interviewed Prince Andrew, where he gave that devastating own goal interview to her. And she asked him years ago, and she said, if you had to choose between Parliament, the British sovereign Parliament, where everyone is voted representatives, and Davos, without hesitation, he said, Davos. Yeah, and for those of you that may not know what Davos is the annual, they do it every winter, I think. They meet in Switzerland in a place called Davos. Or I think that the place is called Davos or something like that, or maybe the hotel. And it's basically the most elite and rich of the world get together, flying on their private jets, and they basically rig the global system and tell us ordinary plebeians what to do with our lives. And of course, now we're in the AI. So of course, they're going to be getting together to see how many more jobs they can get rid of. So anyway, not a big fan of Davos. World Economic Forum, that's what it's connected with. And again, for entertainment purposes only. Let's see who else is here. Denise Ferguson, not a question, but wanted to share. Oh, Denise Ferguson said, it's not a question, but wanted to share. Jack Smith 8-hour closed door deposition was released. I spent New Year's Eve watching every minute. Republicans tried their usual games, but Miss Smith stood firm on his assessment that January 6th would not have happened without Duck Larange, and he had the evidence to prove it. So, of course, I mean, it's all there. But you know what? People are starting to wake up now. Let's see what else here. Putin. Let's look at this Putin one. So Denise Ferguson again says, Putin's claim to Duck Larange that Ukraine had tried to assassinate him seemed to be a sign of desperation to me, she says. The Russian people are starting to protest and nothing is going his way. Do you see Putin making a move like a false flag event in a desperate attempt to turn things around or justify a devastating attack on Ukraine? Now, look, it's really interesting that you say that. There's a video that I can share with you guys. I might post it up on the community tab, on the post tab. And it was just, there's this guy, this Irish guy who lives in Ukraine, and he has been reporting avidly on the Ukrainian war. He's also been reporting on people. Can you believe this? thousands of people have been going to Russia to live anti-woke values, and it turns out they're having a disastrous time over there. Turns out living in Russia is not so great. I mean, some of these people are just ridiculous. They are just ridiculous. Everyone knows that Russians are xenophobic. It's not even just about black, it's anyone. Anyone. There's I was sent a clip where this British guy, who's clearly married this Russian woman, he says the rents are too expensive. No one can afford everything. The rent takes most of people's salary. No one can afford to buy food. Everyone's broke. The FSB have been in touch with his wife, and he said it was very, very difficult to even rent a place because on the criteria, before you can even rent a place, it says no non-Russians. So you can't even buy places to live. It's just rent places to live in. I think it's just ridiculous. All right, so let's get into this. So Putin claimed to Duck L'Orange that Ukraine had tried to assassinate him. Seemed to be a sign of desperation to me. The Russian people are starting to protest. Yeah, it's dreadful for them. What would you expect when you spend all the money on war? Do you see Putin make a move like a false flag event in a desperate attempt to turn things around to justify a devastating attack on Ukraine? I think if he could have destroyed Ukraine, he would have done already. But Zelensky has proved incredibly nimble and resourceful. What's going on with Putinshka? And do you remember, guys? I've been, as you know, I've been saying this, preaching this from the pulpit for what, at least half a year now, maybe. And you know, like how I've been saying, we have a Saturn-Neptune conjunction happening at the moment. In February, it's going to become exact. And historically, Saturn-Neptune conjunctions have never been very good for Russia. There's been a lot of calamity and disaster that has happened in Russia when those two together. The last time Saturn and Neptune were together, conjunct, was 1989. What happened then? Yeah, a certain Berlin Wall fell down, didn't it? Do you remember that? Yeah, and that was the end, effectively, the end of the USSR. Yeah. So within Russia, there's a lot. I've just been seeing a lot of videos, a lot of people sharing the content from Russians, real Russians, going, "This is dreadful." But you know, that's where all that corruption goes. So Putinshka, what's going on with Putinshka? Huh? Is he going to try and create a false flag event? And do you remember how I was saying, you guys will also remember this as well. I've been saying this for years when I've been talking about Putin. They say when the leader is dead or about to be removed, they play Swan Lake. Yeah, Swan Lake, of course, is famously composed by the composer is Tchaikovsky, if I remember correctly. And whenever the leader died, they used to show Swan Lake because, of course, you have the Kirov and you have the Bolshoi Ballet. Of course, Russian ballet, of course, is well-renowned and phenomenal. Everyone knows that, including the French, of course, French ballet as well. And, of course, New York, America. But anyway, so I was watching Tarot by the Bay, and he was quoting Libby, and Libby was saying that some independent radio thing has started to play the Tchaikovsky. So it could be a thumbing of the nose at Putin, or maybe they know something that we don't. Putin's still alive, but with this conjunction, especially going into next year when he has the nodes, he's going to have a nodal return, and then the nodes are going to stop on his natal placement. I think it's for 3 months, or it's 2.5 years and loose change. That is epic. Epic. Anytime you get that in your life is going to change a lot. Anyway, Putinshka. for entertainment purposes only. Putinska. And then I need to hold on to my obsidian as well. Putinska. False flag event or just plain old desperation. Putinska. So with that card that I showed you, which is partially illustrated, I think I'm going to copy it down and make it this size. I may just turn it into a tarot card and I may just add it to my own deck and see if it comes up. I've just been reflecting on the meanings of the card. Ooh. This is very interesting. It's going to be a bit of a struggle for Putin now. It's going to be a bit of a struggle. Why? The first card is the 10 of Cups, and you're probably thinking, oh, that's a pretty positive card. But as you know, when we're reading on politics, do you remember I often refer to this card as being too good to be true? This can also be about, when it comes to politics, presenting a false image of security, of family. Everything is fine. This is also, I think, the case, part of, not even I think, it has been the case. Part of the Russian propaganda machine has been to entice families over to Russia because, you know, their population is decimated. And they've been projecting these, what, family values. There's no woke here. You can have traditional Slavic Christian values here. Come, come, bring your families. Where it's now been proven that it's an absolute racket. And they come and they have a dreadful time. A lot of these husbands are now being flung to the front line, especially a lot of other people that apply as well. So this is Putinska as a tactic, presenting to the world this idyllic family values idea of no woke and blah, 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 when actually what these people encounter is racism and xenophobia, regardless of what color they are. And some of the Americans have actually even been killed. Yeah, I think The Guardian just reported that there was an American guy wanted to go to Russia for this, was sent to the front line, and he was killed by the Russian soldiers. So, yeah, so it's too good to be true. But this is also showing as well, Putinska is presenting a certain image to the world, which isn't true for those living in Russia as well. If we look what's in the opposition to this wonderful mirage, look at this. Yeah, we have the Ace of Swords, which of course is the sword of truth. This is the no BS card. This is the slicing sword that cuts through all of the BS. And you remember what I was saying? You've heard me say it a few times now, but it really is true. When it comes to crisis, the pocketbook screams the loudest. Russians are not able to buy food. This video that I was watching, it was showing from the Russian papers, this Irish guy that lives in Ukraine, he can read Russian and Ukrainian. And even the Russian papers is saying 40% of Russians now cannot afford to buy food after they've paid their bills. 40%. That's almost half. That is not sustainable. Yeah, this is cutting through, just like with the Magatonians. Yeah, look at the ridiculous prices that everyone has to pay in the United States now. Yeah, this sword of truth, this Saturn Neptune joining together, illusions and delusions being destroyed by what? Reality. Yeah. If we look here, we have the Queen of Cups. This is Putinska for me, yeah, trying to keep a lid on everything. He's trying to keep it quiet. He's trying to keep it a secret how much Russia is struggling. Now, for anyone who's prepared to do any remote research on this, they will find out that actually Russia is actually in a lot of trouble, but he's still working very hard projecting this, yeah, trying to get people to come because the population is decimated, but they're also xenophobic. The population that's left is highly dangerous. Yeah, they also, as well, a lot of people don't know this, Russia has the highest contractions of HIV in Europe by a long shot. Yeah. And they've also got the highest divorce rate as well. So this happy family stuff is just BS. Yeah. So Putinshka is trying to keep a lid on that. Remember, I say Putin shows up as the empress. He can show up as the emperor. He has both archetypes within him. If we look here, what I've noticed as when I'm reading his cards, look, we have the Judgment card. Here you see the resurrected dead waking up, rubbing the funk out of their eyes. I think this is just Joe Blogs, Mr. and Mrs. Average waking up to the propaganda. Yeah. There's been the MAGA propaganda, which, what is it? The prices are waking everyone up to. But this is also showing in Russia as well. A lot of people in Russia are struggling. Ukraine has been very effective at tackling their power rigs. Now they're actually going after the oil tankers. If that happens, like Russia's finished. Russia's finished. We're talking about the secret oil tankers. And then if we look here, look. Impoverishment. Now, isn't this interesting? We've got the Six of Pentacles here, and here you have the wealthy benefactor paying out to these people. This can talk about the wealthy oligarch who is dishing out to the poor, but what we need to understand is that this is literally the Russian people impoverished. But I think this could also be Putin as well, not in terms of money. Putin is actually one of the richest men in the world. He doesn't want everyone to know how much money he has. He's literally, we're talking, I think he's probably already been a trillionaire for a while, to be honest. Such is the level of corruption and, of course, Russia's resources. But I think it's the poverty, the grinding poverty that is starting to happen in Russia that is really cutting through. And it is undermining Putinshka's attempt to keep everything quiet. Yeah, because there is the wake-up call. Yeah, the judgment, where they realize, look, the perfect family doesn't exist, and they are living a life of poverty. So again, like they say, it's the economy, stupid. If there is going to be anything that brings Putin down, it's going to be the economy. Ukraine knows this, and this is why they're hitting Russia where it hurts, because they're hitting Russia where they make their money. We need to remember, for this country that has got, I don't know, 17 time zones. No, I can't remember. It's like 12 time zones or something ridiculous like that. That whole mass, its economy is only the size of Italy. And it's not to do Italy down, but Italy is a much, much smaller country, and they live in pretty good. How can you have something as huge as Russia and it only has the economy of Italy? So, and Italy is not too shabby, but you see, it's not working well, is it? Not working well. So for Putinshka, I think that is tricky times. And there's there. Space Forge, a UK composite micro says. So Nick Mink says, Space Forge, a UK company, have sent a microwave-sized factory into orbit and have demonstrated that its furnace can be switched on and reach temperatures of around about 1,000 Celsius. It hopes to make superconductors in space. What did the card show us for the use of space for manufacturing going forward? Oh my God. Oh, I hope not. Manufacturing in space. Oh. Let me just make a note of that. Manufacturing, factoring in space. I think I'll also do an overview as well for the year. Let's just take a look at this. Manufacturing in space. What's that all about? All this semiconductor stuff and all of this stuff, it just needs to stop. What the governments, look, like, I don't want to be too dark, but look, this is how it really is. You see all these Davos people that get together, yeah, where they get together once a year, I think it's in February, to basically decide how they think the future of Earth should go. They are not interested in us as humanity. Yeah, we see it, the AI taking everyone's jobs now, as you know. If anyone wants to use AI personally, that's your choice. Yeah, but I see where this stuff is going. My job is to help you guys envision the future that's there. And let me just tell you, they do not like us. AI is not for our liberation. It's really not. It may be convenient. and it's creating a lot of dependency, and it's also creating a lot of what they're calling it they're calling it AI psychosis. Is causing a lot of that, but it's not for our liberation. If once they can manufacture things in space, then what they have is Skynet. Yeah. And you remember what Terminator? Remember what happened with Skynet? They tried to turn off the machine and then they couldn't. Yeah. Anyway, manufacturing space. God, I hope it all blows up. It's just, we just need to calm down. Just humanity and these billionaires, they just need removing. They are sociopathic nut bags. They shouldn't even be running a tea shop, let alone running the world. Oh, I must have the cards upside down. Yeah, I did. I had the cards upside down. So the question is manufacturing in space. Typical. All right, here we are. They're all gathering, yeah? Queen of Wands. This is the card of gathering, negotiation, being collegiate. So the billionaires are all gathering together to talk about this. Here, we got the Four of Cups. So they're still not quite liking the options on the table. I think there's some difficulties with the logistics of how to do it. Obviously, this British company has just gone up, but that's just one little thing. So they don't like the options on the table. Also, as well, what's happening now, because the mass awakening is happening, guess what? People are starting to push back against the AI data centers. Why? Because one data centers will use the same electricity as Chicago in 1 year, millions of gallons of water, and it's polluting the air and everything like that. So basically, people are dying, they're getting cancer. They've got no water pressure. It's just shitty shit, and more shit. Honestly, I'm not saying AI is going to disappear. AI is here to stay, but in its current form, you'll see, especially as this year progresses, you're going to see more and more and more stories of people pushing back because everyone's bills are going through the roof because they're passing on the cost and then they're lying to the local people and the representatives, a lot of whom they've bought off, about the consequences. Look, how long can you last by drinking poisoned water? Think about it. A person, the average human, can last about 2 weeks without eating food. How long can you go without drinking water? Yeah? I think it's about 3 days. After 3 days, you're dead. And I know that sounds like bleak, and you're probably thinking, "Oh, Hoagie, why are you always beating this drum?" It's because they are disguising. It's only independent media where they're reporting a lot of this. There is massive pushback starting in the United States against these data centers because of the noise, the droning noise. It poisons the water, lowers the water pressure. They've even just had something passed where they basically say, "Yeah, your water quality is going to go down." Like, who wants that? If your house is within a mile of these data centers, you can't sell your house. And then everyone's electricity bills go up through the roof. It's a lose-lose situation. It's only for them. It's only for them. Anyway, look, they're trying to do I'm having a rant. They're trying to do a global coordination on this. Yeah, the Davos people. Yeah, they're trying to get a consensus and agreement. They're making their plans. Yeah, this is the super rich, the billionaires. Yeah, they look Ace of Pentacles. So they're looking to raise funding for this. Yeah, this is why they're funding all of this. Billions and billions and billions going into these AI data centers. They said, when you strip out the data centers, the US economy grew by 0.1% over the last year. 23 out of the 50 states in the United States are officially in recession. Because they're not spending the money on infrastructure. Imagine if they spent this on high-speed rail, affordable housing, public transport, health, blah, 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 all of this stuff. Imagine how incredible the states would be, but not just the states. This is happening all around the world. They've got the money, they're just spending it, yeah? Let's build all this more crap in space. Well, and then if we look here, Here, look, you got the eight. You got the 8 of Wands, which is again moving through the air, things moving through space. So yes, they are gonna absolutely. They're gonna try it. They may succeed at it, but I certainly hope they don't. But yeah, they're gonna go for it anyway. Let's bring some of you in. Let me just scroll down. Oh, someone says here, Karen says, I had a dream I was hanging out with Barack and Michelle Obama, and it was so nice. That's a nice one. Spact says, Happy New Year from, how do I say that? Aotearoa? Aotearoa? Sorry, I think I've absolutely butchered that. Forgive me. I'm like so many vowels, and I was like, so we got a hello here from Wisconsin. Fallon saying, hit like and subscribe. It's free. Yes, tell your friends to join the party. Oh, thank you so much, Fallon. That's very kind of you. We got Toronto in the house here. Fatima here. Thank you. And then Laurie Hillahogi checking in from Idaho. Oh, thank you. I've been through Idaho actually when I was on the when I was on rail track. I was on Amtrak. And it's still my favorite journey. Sorry, I wax lyrical about Amtrak from time to time, but I took Amtrak from, where is it? From Chicago all the way over to Seattle. Oh, it was incredible. Honestly, if I could land in America without being arrested and deported back home because of my internet, because of my social media content, if I could do that, I would have another trip on Amtrak, assuming that it didn't fly off the rails. But oh, I had a wonderful time. Americans are full of stories. Not all of them plausible, but very entertaining. The American public, when you mix with the American public, very, very interesting. All right, what's this here? Happy New Year. Given F45, this is from Jerry Gelding. Given F45's legal issues and allegations of Epstein involvement, why would any of the survivors vote for him? One said they believed he would release the files. However, the survivors know more than anyone the levels of involvement. Could this be a case of Stockholm syndrome? Very good question. Let's look into that. One of the things, Jerry, I think that has emerged is the power of propaganda and just how much people vote against their own interests. And there's a funny thing in human psychology, which can actually be hard to accept, but it's very, very true. And they say one of the most terrifying things for a human being is to try something new. Yeah, to try something new. And what can often happen, particularly with backgrounds that have been abusive, yeah, in all sorts shapes and forms, very often those people will often seem to keep meeting or having relationships with people that were not nice to them, yeah, in their childhood. And again, I'm not a psychologist, but if you think about it, I mean, it's kind of absurd, isn't it, that a victim of Epstein, who's very closely connected with Trump, would actually go out and vote for Trump, but also expecting that Trump would reveal the Epstein files. So without kind of realizing, I don't want to get too much into it because I'm not a qualified psychologist, but yes, there can be an element there of Stockholm syndrome, but also as well, unfortunately, people do tend to go with what they know, even if it's abusive. And that's why it can be so difficult to break the cycle of dysfunctional relationships that we may experience in our childhood. It can be very, very difficult because the child is always wanting to either please or placate or make that situation better. So when they meet people that fit that archetype that they've grown up with, they can sometimes actually feel a strong attraction there, or they want to fix that problem, that riddle that they're trying to solve. And I've had that. I mean, I didn't have an abusive childhood or whatever, but I've noticed patterns. These are long broken now, but I've noticed patterns in my own relationships with certain types of characters, certain types of people. Certainly, that has been completely resolved now, but it took a lot of soul searching to get there. Anyway, why would any Epstein victim vote for, oh, come on, vote for Duck Larange, who is just scandalous? You could there aren't enough adjectives to describe Trump and his levels of criminality other than gargantuan. A lot of it as well is to do with patriarchy as well, religion, and internalized misogyny as well. That can be another thing. Is that a reversal? Oh. How interesting. I actually got a reversal. Genuine one this time. Four of Cups upside down. What can that talk about? The Four of Cups, when it's the right way around, can talk about not liking the options on the table, but it can also do with reflection and meditation. Yeah, pondering something. Do you see here how the person here is in deep thought, but they are not seeing the opportunity here? This time it showed up in reverse. And I feel like, in a way, for me, the Four of Cups reversed is taken on a bit more of the energy of the Seven Cups, which can deal with illusions and delusions. Part of it is like, isn't it obvious that being a survivor of Epstein and his gang of people and Trump, shouldn't it be obvious that voting for Trump is not a good idea? And I'm trying to come at this not with judgment, but like objectively. And it's almost like it's like the thinking process is just like upside down. Here, when the card is the right way up, the person is pondering choices. They're thinking deeply, but it's almost like this is like completely subconscious. It's almost like they weren't consciously aware of what they were doing or what the connection was between the two, not seeing the wood for the trees at all. When it's the right way up, the cup here is an option, but when it's upside down, it's like they don't even see the cup at all. So I think some of these people genuinely didn't make the connection, which is kind of rather remarkable, isn't it? And if we look here, just in case we're not sure, look who's turned up in the obstacle position. The Emperor. What does this card stand for? It stands for male power, authority, and patriarchy. And you remember how I was mentioning that patriarchy is a part of it, and this issues with internalized misogyny as well. So what I'm seeing here is that some of the voters that voted for Trump is because they were seeing him as some kind of patriarchal father figure. And what is emerged, particularly when it comes to MAGA voters, a lot of them have this patriarchal identification where, in many ways, like Trump can be very much that mirror of the abusive father that the inner child is trying to placate. Yeah, so I think here, the cards here are showing a bit of evidence for that theory there. Yeah, because it's showing up in the obstacle position. That's what, when these people that voted, even though they're survivors, they vote for Trump, they saw him, they projected onto him maybe some aspects of the rescuing father that they never had. I don't want to get too deep into that because I'm not a psychologist, but you see what I mean? I have to say what I see. If we look here, these, I think, are the survivors as women now. Yeah, women now, who of course have gone through a lot of very difficult experiences, but are now, of course, much more mature. And of course, not all the survivors voted this way. Some of them did. But remember too, I also associate the Queen of Pentacles with the electorate as well. So what this says to me is there is almost like an upside down world. Do you guys watch Stranger Things? Incredible. I'm watching season 4, but some of it I had to stop. It was just a bit too violent. But there is a concept in there of the upside down world. Yeah, the world of the upside down. And what this says to me is that obviously a lot of MAGA are waking up, but when we think of the hardcore, it's like they are in an alternate universe. They're in the land of the upside down. Sometimes I do refer to the States as the land of upside down and back to front, because some of the thinking is so warped because of this patriarchy, because of this this misogyny, but also as well this hierarchical indoctrination via the church. This has also affected a lot of the electorate across many backgrounds. However, if we look here, we have the Four of Swords show up. Now, for this, as you guys know, I associate the Four of Swords more with death than the death card itself. And what this says to me is, I think this, well, not even I think, we know the MAGA cult is dying. But I think this is also as well, I think this is, when we're talking about the context of the victims, to keep it into context here, I think this is how they feel about the Epstein files. You know, they're trying to get them out, and they just feel like they are constantly disappointed. And we can see Degrasse and his cronies are trying his best to put these Epstein files to bed forever. That's what they want to do. They want to bury this thing. But I also think this reflects some of the survivors' disappointment. And then if we look here, we get the 10 of Wands, which we can see is the card of burdens, heavy burdens. They've been carrying this burden, of course, since childhood, or whenever they were abused by Epstein or Degrasse or his cronies. So here as well, the sticks would be better off being bound together. So I think they have to keep coordinating. They have to keep the pressure up so that, so that the emperor cannot bury the Epstein files. Do you see? But it's going to be hard work. It's going to be hard work, but they have to keep going. But there have been some, I think, particularly due to the abuse and stuff, that are literally being in the world of the upside down. But it shows there's a lot of the electorate like that as well. Yeah. A lot of the electorate have been in the world of upside down, but you see, they're going to be starting to wake up. Well, they are waking up. Not enough, but still plenty. Yeah, still plenty. So I hope you found that interesting. Quite interesting cards, that, wasn't it? Right, let's bring some more of you in. So we've done Duck Votes plus Victims. Let's have a look here. All right, let's see who else is in the house. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. Please, of course, be sure to like and subscribe and share. Press that bell notification. And, of course, feel free to drop me a hype as well so more people can discover this channel and it can continue to grow. What's this says? Oh, someone has said here, Angel Riviere says, everyone from the area between Acapulco and Ciudad de Mexico, I hope that all of you are safe. Why? Is something happening there? What's happening in that area? Is there some kind of natural disaster or something going on? Let's see. Roberta says, from Michigan, love your show. Enjoy your usage of the English language. Oh, thank you. Much, much thank you. Ooh. How do I say that? G. Kalund. Mamdani is my new mayor. Today, people were so lifted and kind. Excellent. Actually, let's do a quick read on Mamdani. Let's do here, Mamdani read for 2020. Let's do a read. Mamdani 2026. Take a bit of water. And there's currently 993 of you in the room. Thank you so much, everyone. Let's take a quick look at Mamdani and then carry on with the rest of the show. And what's this here? Oh, I need to say some thank yous. Thank you so much, Faith, for your kind donation. And thank you so much, JC. It says, appreciate you. PS, AI is mental. Yeah. Yeah, it is a bit. I mean, don't get me wrong. It has its uses. Yeah. But it has to be applied in specific ways. You see how they're forcing it on us from every single direction? AI this, AI that, blah, blah, blah. This, blah, 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 bang, blah, 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 bleep, 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 bleep. Yeah. While they're cutting jobs. Do you know entry-level jobs have been cut? Entry-level, so this is people's first jobs have fallen by 32% since ChatGPT came out. So think about that. That's the future. What are they going to do for money? I've been seeing online, some people have applied for up to 600 jobs and didn't even get a reply. A lot of the jobs out there are fake. And they're using AI to read through everyone's resumes, and everyone's using AI to write the resumes. And the AI that's being used to read the resumes is just deleting everybody out. I think, and again, because they're fudging the numbers, you have to go to independent media. America lost 1.1 million jobs last year. 1.1 million since Trump's been in power. And he's cooking the books on everything else. Gosh, anyway, but Mamdani, let's see what's going in for him. What's in store for Mamdani? Let's say the next 3 months. Next 3 months for Mamdani. Will he be able to implement his agenda? Now, it'd be interesting if the 10 of Cups comes for him, because of course we know he's gone on a campaign of helping families and making costs better. But let's see what cards he gets. See if he can deliver on his promises. Mamdani. Oh. This is so interesting. When you see what the second card is, so interesting. Anyway, first card out. We've got the moon card. So what does this mean? Nothing is clear by moonlight. So what this says to me is, I think, because he's now been sworn in, hasn't he? So now it's official. And I think he had to pay $9 for some registration thing or whatnot. So as you know, nothing is clear by moonlight. But what we need to remember with the moon card, yeah, you have the domestic dog and you have the untamed wolf. The challenge is to walk between the two pillars of truth. Here, this pool here, which for me represents the unconscious, or water in general represents the unconscious. We have the lobster coming out, which for me represents the id, and you see it's going towards the wolf. What this says to me is that Mamdani is going to have to navigate very well, because there are a lot of very powerful billionaires that obviously do not want his agenda to succeed. Now, they've not all left in droves, as everyone was warning that they would. They haven't. I mean, New York is a fabulous place, as we know, especially if you've got money. If you've got money, New York, oof, one of the best places in the world. And it's one of my favorite cities. I think I've been there about 4 or 5 times now. But what this says to me is, once he gets into the levers, he gets his hands on the levers of power, he may find that there may be unexpected obstructions there or secret agendas there. He's going to have to kind of he has to navigate. He's going to have to try and be the loyal dog working for the people of New York, walking through to navigate between the pillars of truth, and he has to watch out for the wolves, which will try to tempt him. Yeah, they'll try to tempt him. If we look who's back. It's the 4 of Cups. Now, you remember when it showed up the first time, it was reversed. I don't remember turning the card around, to be honest. I don't remember turning the card around. Maybe I did and I didn't realize. But anyway, it's back, but this time the right way up. So again, this is a card about making choices. So he is very aware that there are many choices that he needs to make as mayor. Yeah. But the background is this. So he's going to have to navigate extremely carefully. There may be a lot of people with hidden or secret agendas, and he has to choose wisely. But there are options to him. Yeah, that will come. Now, if we look here, just in case we weren't sure, we see here the King of Cups, which is obviously Mamdani in this case. As you guys know, I associate the King of Cups with democracy, and many of the readers out there do as well. So, of course, he won democratically. This shows as well that his heart is in the right place. The King of Cups talks about what an emotionally intelligent man, a creative man. I think he's also a DJ person and interested in arts and fashion and does cool stuff with his wife. But this is definitely Mamdani, yeah, bringing that democracy. If we look here, we have the Knight of Cups. And of course, when you've got this is talking about a positive message. Yeah, we've got a positive message, and you have to read the cards together. He does have to be careful, though, that he can deliver what he says that he delivers. But he's an excellent spokesperson, as we know, very talented politician. And look at the outcome for Mamdani. Ooh. Now, as you know, when I'm normally reading on politics, the Empress card is my Russia card, but Russia is not supporting Mamdani. What this is talking about the potential fertility. Yeah, the fertility, the success. The Empress card is a very, very positive card, particularly when you have it for an outcome card. So this talks about fertility. It talks about wealth. It talks about success. It also talks about food, grain. This could also show as well, let's not forget that the Empress is pregnant as well. And remember, one of the things he's spoken about, isn't it, free childcare? I think he's spoken about free childcare. So if he can really deliver, especially if he can deliver for mothers, if he can bring down childcare cost, food costs, yeah, because this talks about food and stuff for families in general, then he will be exceptionally successful. If he delivers, yeah, if he delivers on his message, yeah, the message he took to the American people, to the people of New York, and is able to navigate, yeah, some of the more shadier characters by making savvy choices, yeah, not rushing. If he can do that, then he will be immensely successful. Yeah. So well done for Mamdani. Good luck. Good luck for everything. All right, let's see. Oh, the time is racing by. Someone says here, wow, brilliant. Thank you. I'm not sure what that was responding to. Oh, here we are. Raymond's always got something fascinating to say. It's very simple to be happy, but it is very difficult to be simple. Yeah. Rabindranath Tagore. Yep, that is very true. I definitely, yeah, I live simply. I live as simply as I can. As some people here saying, looks amazing. Thank you. Marie. Jerry says, love the artistic talent. Thank you so much. And then Fallon's saying, gorgeous artwork and such a talent. Thank you. Just you wait until it's finished. Oh, it's going to be one of my best ones yet. Because a lot of people not many people know that I'm an artist and an illustrator. I went to art school and everything. And some Claudia saying the illustration is great. Just you wait till it's finished, guys. Oh, it's going to be a bit spooky, but powerful. Very, very powerful. Let's scroll down as well. Forgive me if I'm skipping over a few people. Yeah, and then someone's saying here, Aline saying, I think people don't want an immigrant to do the job. They want a corrupt politician instead. But you can see Mamdani, his heart is in the right place. So as long as he doesn't get corrupted, he'll do very, very well. Someone's saying here, Old Silver said, LinkedIn gave me bad vibes from the get-go. I'm not sure if they're using that much AI on LinkedIn, but oh no, but that's where they're putting the fake jobs. Sorry, I see what you're talking about now. Oh, look at this. Galactic says New York has the best debt collectors in the world. Ooh. Look at this. Ah, Arlene, my goodness, 2008 made me homeless because jobs disappeared and low-level office jobs were gutted to free up money for executives. Indeed. And now it's entry-level jobs. So people can't even get their foot on the ladder. What's everyone, millions of people going to be doing DoorDash? I don't think so. I don't think so. Oh, what's this? Sherry says, New Mexico is the first state in nation to pass statewide universal free childcare for all kids. Oh, well done for New Mexico. That's astonishing. Oops. What was that? Calgary. Oh, what was that? Calgary, but -7, but foggy for 2 days. Yeah, that's very cold. Ah, Queenie says, I'm an artist too. Yeah, shout out to all the artists out there. And then JC says, Mamdani's parents are very grounding. I don't think Mamdani can be bought. I don't think he can either, but they're going to try. Yeah, they're going to try with those agendas. Now, what is this? Oh, here we are. So Claudia Sherman says, first, I had a dream last night. I was playing Serena in tennis. She was a fabulous tennis player. 23 Grand Slams. Astonishing. Just one of the greatest athletes ever, as we all know. Along with, Djokovic and Federer and Nadal. She could be mentioned in the same breath. She's that good. She stopped and you appeared with a huge entourage of people. So I was in the dream. Question, will the orange one get trapped in his body with a stroke? Let's take a look. And someone else was asking, when is he going to die? Exit stage left. And I said to that person, I don't read on death per se, but I will read on health. So this will help answer your question as well. All right. Dark Orange health. And then I think we should then take a little look for the year to see how that's going to pan out. All right, Duck Orange health. What's going on with douchebag Duck Orange? And it's the people around him that are just, I mean, he's dreadful. Don't get me wrong. We all know that. But as you've heard me preach from the pulpit, I said the people around him are worse. But they're all starting to peel off. Caroline Levitt, of course, is one of the best excuses in the world. She's going to be a mother. So Bride of Chucky is, moving away. She probably can't. She's probably been waiting to get out there, to be honest. All right. Duck Orange health. Is there a stroke? Or the like? Duck Orange health. Oh, how can one person produce such chaos in the world, huh? But what I would say is this. Duck Orange is also teaching and educating as well. It's a dreadful lesson, but it is a very pertinent one. A lot of people are being educated. A lot of people are having to face certain realities. Yeah. He's not drained the swamp. He's shone a light on it with all of his greed and his theft. But all of the people that are supporting him, he could do none of this on his own. Duck Orange could do none of this on his own. It's because he's being supported. And it's those people around him that are the worst, because this is also elderly exploitation as well, because he does have frontal lobe dementia. And they're just taking the piss. And they're just suggesting these little vanity projects to him. And he's like, gold, gold, Arc de Triomphe, more gold, marble, gold. Yeah. Crazy. Oh, of course, this person would show up. Talking about Duck Orange, and of course, this person would show up. Of course. All right, here we go. Ten of Pentacles. So I'm not actually seeing major, maybe there might be a thing to do with health, but here, look, Duck Orange is trying to set up a legacy. Not even trying, he is setting up a legacy. He has used nepotism and corruption to, of course, line his own pockets, but not only that, those of his family. If there's anything in terms of any sense of people living beyond himself, because we need to remember he's a malignant narcissist with frontal lobe dementia, so he believes his fantasies are real. which makes him exceptionally dangerous, particularly as he deteriorates. But this, for him, this presidency has been staying out of prison and building his family legacy, enriching his wealth. You'll notice here with the Ten of Pentacles, it is the only card that has all the family members here. You have the grandpa. So, of course, that's Duck L'Orange. You've got the kids. That could be like Ivanka and, you know, Jared or whatever, and whatever offspring. Plus that's the grandchildren, and the dogs are there. We know he doesn't have pets, but anyway. So, Duck L'Orange wanting to leave or create this legacy of corruption and lining his pockets for himself and his family. However, all is not well. There is disruption, there is discord, there is infighting. Yeah, I think this is about Pop's legacy. Yeah, because the kids who are also on the various Richter scales of malignant narcissists will obviously be wanting to fight over the spoils. I mean, they're doing very well, but there is that this can also be debate, discussion. What are they going to do about dad? Yeah, they're not sure. Trump himself is at a crossroads. Look, he gets the Two of Swords. What you got to remember, guys, for all of the fluster and the bluster, yeah, Duck L'Orange is worried. Remember, he's come to me twice now in dreams. And the second one, you remember I saw he had the flu and all of that kind of stuff. And remember what I said? I said, it doesn't necessarily mean he's literally going to die of flu or what have you. I said, it's showing how vulnerable he is. He is very vulnerable. There is a very frightened, frail man within that turgid orange makeup that he puts on. I think he's started to blend a little bit better now that he's been getting to, you know, the iHip News have been taking the piss out of him. Savage, you know, saying that he doesn't know how to blend. Do you remember? Because he's like, his face is like turkey brown, yeah, and then the neck is just white, and then the panda eyes. So I think he's been improving his blending of late, but he is not sure what to do. Yeah, Duck L'Orange is not sure what to do. It shows that there are decisions that he needs to make, potentially about his future. If we look here, we have the Queen of Swords. Now, this is a card of rationality, clarity. Remember as well, I associate the King and Queen of Swords with accountancy and numbers. I think this is the stock market. Not the stock market, the jobs market. Stock market's got not tethered to reality anymore. This is the jobs market. And I think these are the jobs numbers, and the numbers are not looking good at all. And then look who shows up in the picture for Duck L'Orange, the High Priestess, which you guys know is my card for a certain Netanyahu and a country in the Middle East with free healthcare. You know the one? Here. Netanyahu is here. Netanyahu is deciding a lot about what Trump's legacy is. So I've got to put a clarifier here. In what way? Because he's come up so clearly. And for me, that card only has one meaning now when I'm reading politically. If you get it in a personal reading, it's about that person's spiritual development. But this is Netanyahu in Israel, but Netanyahu in particular. What is Netanyahu doing? In what way is he impacting? And let's not forget, isn't he godson to Jared Kushner or something like that? No, godfather or something like that, or someone's godparent to someone somewhere. Forgive me for not being on top of that. Netanyahu, what's he doing here, huh? What's his involvement with Duck L'Orange? What does he want? Pretty obvious, but let's just see what the cards say. I feel like I need a fourth. Of course. Right, okay. And I know I keep saying it, but it keeps showing up. This is like, there is an agreement between these two men. All right. What Netanyahu is doing in regards to Duck L'Orange, he is reminding him of the past. Yeah, he's whispering sweet nothings in his ear. They're talking about nostalgia. They're talking about the good old times. Yeah, this is part of Bibi's play here, because let's not forget, Bibi is very intelligent. He is extremely cunning, wicked, yeah, but extremely cunning. So what he's doing, he's painting a tableau. Yeah, a tableau for Duck L'Orange, where Duck L'Orange can feel safe, comforted, maybe almost like a father figure that that Trump never had. Yeah, because you know, Netanyahu can play that game, play the brother, play the father, that kind of thing. But look, it's about nostalgia. However, I think as well, Netanyahu is also reminding Trump of his legal obligations to him and to his country. Now, remember as well, when I see the justice card, for me, it's not just about legalities. I said this is also to do with signed contracts and agreements. There is a signed contract and agreement between Duck Larange and Bibi. I bet you any money, especially when you see the next card. And then if you look here, the next card that comes out, it is the Three of Pentacles, which is the card of what? Collaboration. Collaboration, working together. You see here are the plans, here's the architecture. Let's not forget that ridiculous video. Do you remember that AI video or Trump Gaza video? And people were just like, what was that? It's a load of rubbish. I said, guys, that is a statement of intent. Let's not forget, Bibi was also sitting there on the sun lounger and they were drinking the pina coladas. Remember? Yes, real estate building. Jared is there, been talking about the real estate. That is the main thing that Bibi wants out of this. This is part of his involvement. This is why he's whispering in the ear. He's saying, yes, it will be an idyll. Yeah, we'll be there on the Riviera. And then eventually he's like, look, come with me, retire with me. Here we got the Three of Wands, which of course now wands, as you know, I associate with business, but this card in particular, I associate with imports and exports, tariffs, foreign lands, stuff like that. The Two of Wands and the Three of Wands. This is waiting for the ship to come in. I really do believe at some stage, we'll have to see, but these are like the options. We know the health is not great. And as you guys know, I said when Jupiter was on going to Trump's natal Saturn in his 12th house, I said his health would deteriorate. We see it's come down markedly. He's getting a little bit of a respite now because Jupiter is now back in sidereal Gemini, which is Trump's 11th house, which deals with friends and connections, powerful, influential people. Bibi, we see, is showing up. Yeah, Bibi is showing up. But now we see what Bibi is offering. When Jupiter goes back into sidereal Cancer on the 1st of June, 2026, it will return to Trump's 12th house, which is not only hospitals and prisons, it's those things and health and stuff, but it's also exile. You know, I've been saying for the longest, I think it's going to reach a point where it's so bad with the economy and they're not going to be able to lie anymore that Duck Larange is going to have to up sticks. And I think he has an agreement with Netanyahu to either go, you remember I said either to go to Israel, Saudi, or Qatar. But I think for me, that is the logical one. Why else as well would you have Trump being out against the international law of justice and making sure that Bibi doesn't get arrested as well? Yeah, it's the Hague and all of this stuff they've been giving like the bat off. But I'll leave it there. So Trump is worried. He knows he's not doing well in the polls. Yeah, but Bibi is whispering in his hair, in his ear, telling him he'll be safe. Nostalgia. We have a legal agreement in place. We've got contracts in place. Remember, Jared Kushner is there as well. Look, the building works are there. The plans are well laid. Pardon me. And when the you-know-what hits the fan, it's going to be like, right, come on, stay with me abroad. That's how I'm seeing it. Because Trump's health is only going to deteriorate, but he's not going to be, I don't think he's quite yet at the stage of loss of full body function. I think that's a few years away. But let's just see how things play out. Let's pull a card for 2026 just to wrap. Arlene says, I had constitutional law at Rampo College and we never covered those parts of dealing with what to do in cases of abusive powers, overreach, sedition, etc. It was more cursory introduction. Yeah, because no one could imagine it before. 2026. Let's just pull a few cards for 2026. And then I've got to call it a day. I've gone quite a bit over. Thanks for staying with me, guys. Well over, what's it, 1,131 of you here with me now. So, big love. Thanks so much. All right, let's do a quick pull for 2026. You know, if you see my astrological overview for 2026, let's see what the cards have to say. Also, as well, Tarot by the Bay, David of Tarot by the Bay said the Peruvian priests or whatever had some readings, didn't they? But let me tell you, Russia, yeah, astrology is the astrology. All right. So if we look here, we have the Chariot. So as you guys know, I've been saying, it's not just me. It's not only that it's 2026, it's not only that it's a 10/1 year, it's also the year of the fire horse. And do you remember I said fire, speed, pace? There could even be escalations of wars and stuff like that, because horses, of course, have been associated with war and vehicles for the longest time. That's why we use the term horsepower when we're describing the power of a vehicle. Here we have the Chariot. It's not two horses, it's the Phoenix, but they may as well be. This is showing that 2026 at some point is going to go at great pace. Yeah, this is going to be an even faster year than what 2025 was, which was just outrageous. We look here in the obstacle position, but mind you, the first card is quite a positive card. I think this is where we're going to see a lot of consolidation. We're going to see a lot of big companies. There's really big companies trying to consolidate, build themselves up even more. I think this is more to do with the oligarchy and the infrastructure that they've got in place. Yeah, this is all the AI systems and all of that stuff. Unfortunately, here in the middle card, we do have the Five of Pentacles. So this is talking about ill health and poverty. But the money one is an obvious one. If everyone's losing their jobs to AI, how's anyone going to have any money? Yeah, so the industries, the Davos lot, and you know the psychopathic billionaires that are all around the world, but particularly in the United States, they want to ensure their legacy, but it's not about enriching people. Yeah. However, the maths, someone's be doing the maths. Here we got the Queen of Swords, that reality check. And then if we look, we get the Page of Pentacles. So there may be some kind of financial correction. I think particularly as well, if Mamdani does well and New York doesn't fall apart and living standards increase, then there will be more of an argument to share more money with the people. So I think it's going to be tricky, yeah, because I have to say what I see. Look, we got the card of disenfranchisement, sickness, disease, poverty, yeah, but it's juxtaposed to like the big companies wanted their money and they want to drive fully ahead. But it's almost like the numbers. Again, I think this is the economy, the maths. When people start looking at the maths, they're going to be like, no, douchebags, nah. You need to distribute that wealth. You need to give us something. Yeah. So I think there's quite a lot riding on the Mamdani New York mayor. His time as New York mayor may be even more significant than we thought, because he is actually going to set an example. If he succeeds in New York, which it looks like he's got a good chance of doing, this may not only change New York, it could change all of America, where they will realize that they need to give the people more money. I hope that's how it plays out, but there's going to be lots of ups and downs and in-betweens in between them, but still quite a positive finish there, isn't it? So I'm going to leave it there because I'm way over. I'm almost 1/4 past. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you for all the love and the support. Please hit like and subscribe and bell notification. Hype, and don't forget as well my retreats. Yes, don't forget I've got my retreats. It's all linked in the video below. Will be linked in the video below. Let me just share my screen with you. So I'll squeeze in just before we get to 1/4 past. There we are. So this is my retreat here. So as you can see a couple of reviews in. This is 1st to the 4th of May 2026. You can see here all the activities, some lovely reviews down there which you can read. just share some of the photographs. It's me out there. This place is gorgeous. And the third is fabulous. So there's me in my blue kimono. That's some of my students from last year. Oh, lovely ladies. I'll be seeing some of them as well, plus a few more this year. Some other people that attended things. Yeah, that's Marie. I'm going to be doing art project with Marie, actually, by the way, on Ether. I forgot to say Ether, the planets. Also as well, healing, art. So imagine art combined with healing, combined with scent, combined with transformational, transcendental mind stuff. Watch this space. It is almost 1:15, so I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. Big love and bye-bye for now. And you'll see me again maybe Monday or something like that. I'll have to see. Mwah! All right. Bye-bye for now.